I'm Martha Teichner. Where Charlie Osgood truly excels, I must say it is my sense, is in his use of what we call unbound poetic license. From down the hall, I decided to pay Charlie a friendly call. So, Charlie, hi.
Hey, Martha. What's up?
I have a question about poetry.
First of all, I don't think anything that I do is poetry. I do rhymes.
There are certain parts of London, if you're ever there at night, where the streets all seem to glow with a peculiar sort of light. A throwback to another time. Imagination quickens, and suddenly you're thinking of A. Conan Doyle or Dickens.
Rhymes like these he's famous for. When you hear iambic pentameter, you know what's in store.
When it's time for Halloweening, there is one thing you should know. You should stay away from Nut Tree. That is, if you are a crow. For they go to endless trouble there to get crows off their backs, and to make crows feel unwelcome, and to give crows heart attacks.
We actually had a death threat in the newsroom. Somebody called up and said, tell Osgood that if he does any more of those stupid poems, I'm going to kill him.
From a colleague, assent for this murderous intent.
If somebody did kill him with one of those poems, he said it would be justifiable homicide. So I always feel as if it's sort of dangerous for me to do poetry.
Dangerous in more ways than one. For example, this limerick that's racy fun.
There once was a pretty young lass who hailed from the Bay State of Mass. She stepped into the bay on a fine summer day, the water right up to her knees. So it's funny, but it's not what you expect, and you laugh because you expected something else. And say, well, that doesn't rhyme now, but it will when the tide comes in.
Charlie's audience can bet money on his poems being funny. For example, the time he wrote about a lawsuit between the makers of yuck and the makers of slime.
Playing with something as wretched as slime, little kids have just a wonderful time. It wiggles and stretches, it's clammy and green. It's as drippy as anything you've ever seen.
Some noise about toys, with a great punchline, I'll say.
Don't let anyone tell you that slime does not pay.
Ever heard of Apostle Q? It's an acronym now obsolete, but amusing to repeat. A person of opposite sex sharing living quarters from those Census Bureau people sorters.
There's nothing that I wouldn't do if you would be my Apostle Q. You live with me and I with you, and you will be my Apostle Q. I'll be your friend and so much more. That's what Apostle Q is for.
If his rhymes seem goofy, it could be because his inspiration is Dr. Seussy.
Nothing could be more enjoyable than reading his stuff.
Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person were calling for help.
It's even true. He narrated Horton Hears a Who.
It's like an earworm, one of those things that you hear a song and then you can't get it out of your head.
Charlie's poems are like that too. Why? Well, here's a clue.
Well, as a member of the Academy of American Poets, I happen to have a poetic license.
Anybody could do it if they wanted to.
But they don't, and probably won't. Who else with such zeal would rhyme about Great-Grandma Lucille?
89 years of age is Lucille, but she says you are only as old as you feel. Want to see what Lucille is now able to do? These are 1-inch pine boards, not just one board, but two.
So here's to Charlie, our resident wit, TV's poet laureate.